It's really easy to dismiss why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion as just another Otome game isekai. But that couldn't be further from the truth. For one, it's not an Otome game, and two, it's not a villainess. Sure, it has its similarities, a female protagonist going to another world and using the knowledge that she has of that world in order to avoid some sort of death. But the similarities just kind of fall off at that point. Whether these similarities or lack thereof puts you off, putting that aside, what I actually found while watching Raeliana is really something special, and something that has me really excited for where it goes from here. Introducing characters and fun chemistry and situations that constantly put the main character into a situation where she's constantly searching for some sort of way out, a logical escape. So, if you're looking for that hidden gem of the season, stick with me as I go through why Raeliana is a series that you should not skip. Why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion opens up with a girl in our modern times Japan. She's on a rooftop with somebody that she can't remember who it was. And just as she's being accepted in the universe that she's been trying to get into for a long time, during her excitement, this person pushes her off of the roof. Visions of her family flash before her eyes, and also this person that told her that her life was going to be short. All before she wakes up in the body of Raeliana Macmillan, the daughter of a baron in a novel series that she's actually read at some point. The novel in question follows a heroine who goes back home after hearing of the death of her friend, and she investigates the truth behind her death, eventually discovering that it was her husband that killed her in order to acquire her wealth of her family. And yes, that friend that was murdered is Raeliana. And so yes, since she's not keen on the idea of dying once again, she searches for any method that she possibly can to get away from her current fiancé. Which all these attempts fail. The guy's very adamant about it. Obviously, he's after her wealth. Until one day, while she's at a ball, she decides to take a leap of faith. Just jump at something. Why not? To confront the main male protagonist character of the story, Noah Wine Knight, next in line to the throne. Using her knowledge of all the secrets that the main heroine uncovers about Noah, she's able to use this to sort of coerce Noah into acting like they're in a relationship, thus pushing away her fiancé. Well, as the two of them meet in secret, Noah finally confronts her. Well, what's the secret that you have in mind? A seal, something that actually enacts laws in this area. See, it's a world of nobles and power, but due to capitalism, that old system is slowly fading away. And the old nobles want to keep that power. So they want to enact a law that prevents new nobles from being assigned titles. In order to put into effect this law, they need that seal. And she knows Noah has that seal because she read the story, and that he is actually hiding it. That he's actually somebody working for the king to act as if he's working for the old nobles, all while holding the one chip they need in order to put their plans in effect. And she uses the fact that she knows that he has this to try to coerce him into acting as if they're married, long enough for her fiancé to give up. But this doesn't persuade him. Instead, he says, interesting. Be on your way. If that's all, be on your way. But then she shows him a sign of something that sort of intrigues him. As she's leaving and she's like, man, this is over. My plan failed. She remembers the chessboard in the room. Chessboard with each of the pieces placed in a certain area that technically represents the powers in the area itself, each representing a family or a power that's moving. And she signifies to him that he needs to move a chess piece because somebody is going to be making a move soon. And this intrigues him because she has this kind of knowledge that he was unaware of. And so he finally agrees. All right, I'll be your husband, you'll be my wife, but at the same time, you're going to do everything that I require of you. He's not going to do this without getting some sort of benefit out of it. And so thus begins their relationship, technically, sort of, fake relationship, as Raeliana, again, is trying to avoid all these flags, now being in the presence of Noah, who's constantly using her for his own benefit, and this constant tug and pull between the two of them, eventually getting into the actual villainess of the story itself, and Noah announcing their marriage. So my thoughts on why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion. Like I kind of hinted at in the opening, I am really, really, really enjoying this show. And a lot of my enjoyment currently is just liking the chemistry between these two characters. I like that Raeliana is a very driven character. At the same time, she's constantly had things being thrown in front of her that's kind of shaking things up and forcing her to have to find a logical conclusion. Even though most of the time it doesn't seem like she's even sure about what she decides. It's just sometimes she just has to make a move. So for Raeliana as a character, or the character that's within Raeliana, it's sort of a cat and mouse game, constantly seeing an issue and having to find some sort of resolve using the knowledge that she has from the books. And I like that she's not overly confident about her decisions. In a lot of cases, she's unsure if it's even gonna work. Like initially trying to propose some sort of deal with Noah. She's literally going, please tell me not to leave. Tell me I had enough for you. And even still, when she gets what she wants, she's not happy because now she's at the whims of Noah, who is a very clever man. He's not an idiot. And again, like I said before, he uses everything at his disposal, including her. If she can get him some sort of favor with this group of wives of the nobles, then he's going to use her. And that chemistry between the two of them extends to the fact that you have this aspect that Raeliana doesn't necessarily trust Noah, doesn't necessarily like his attitude, but at the same time, you're getting a real quick hint that Noah really does get a kick out of Raeliana. Yes, her technically being Raeliana's body is an abnormality. She has knowledge that she really shouldn't have. She's very clever in that regard, even though she's not technically clever. And he's sort of picking up on this. Obviously wants to know who her informant is, but she's like, oh, that person's dead. Like I said before, their chemistry is making this show really fantastic so far. He's constantly throwing her off. She's extremely bugged by him, but at the same time, she has to use him. So she can't really get angry that he's using her because she's blackmailing him currently. I really, really love it. Outside of that is really the concept of what they're presenting for the overall story that I'm sort of fascinated by. Yes, its premise is similar to every Otome game, and the idea that somebody is transported into another world, has the knowledge of how things unfold, and is able to use those to her advantage. But yes, we're not technically the villainous character here, or the main protagonist. We're a side character that dies just to initiate the story. And she's sort of technically putting herself in the position of where the heroine should be. The heroine falls in love with Noah, and now she's there. And what does that come with? Yes, the villainous character. The villainous character that the heroine had to deal with, now she's got to deal with that. Again, it's constantly using her knowledge to gain favor, but it puts her in the bullseye of so many other people. So it's a constant pivoting to make sure that she's in a good spot while avoiding everything that's going to be a problem. But I think my bigger question mark is going to be what the bigger story is going to be, because she's already technically represented this idea that she knows where all the powers are and where the powers will eventually go to. And she technically could divulge all that to Noah to gain him favor against all these factions. But it doesn't seem like she's necessarily interested in that. Currently, her as Raeliana is in like self-preservation mode. She's just constantly just trying to make sure she's in a comfortable spot, which I appreciate that. She's not after world domination using the knowledge she has, which would probably put Noah in a position where he'd be like, how do you know all this stuff? Are you a witch or something? Which kind of helps it to sort of ease you into the world rather than having her blurt everything out. But that still is technically a benefit to her because every situation where she runs into somebody, she knows what those people are after, at least according to the novel. It will be interesting to get to a point where she's shifted things so much that suddenly it blows up in her face, which is sort of happening already at a smaller scale. Obviously, the big question mark is what's going to happen with the main heroine. My prediction currently that I have is, since they've kind of labeled the heroine of the story as being this person that figured things out, discovered the death of Raeliana, discovered what Noah was doing, what if she'll know what Raeliana is doing? That's the big question mark, and I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to get into if they eventually do have the heroine show up. Currently, a lot of its focus is on her self-preservation and using Noah while Noah is using her to gain favor for himself. Currently, Noah's task is from the king himself to act as if he favors the old nobles, and to sort of stall them as the capitalist system sort of rises up. And again, I'm kind of curious if her presence now will sort of shift that. But yes, I love Raeliana. She's got a great personality. Like I said, she's kind of an every person. The person that's just thrown in the situation and just trying to figure things out as she goes along. She's not a genius. She does have the knowledge of the world, but still she kind of struggles with every decision she makes, and she's very uncertain about where things will go. Noah, like I said before, I love his personality, his just constantly teasing Raeliana. He just makes the show really, really entertaining. Adam's been pretty okay so far. He's just the child soldier that is slowly learning emotions. The villainous introduction was fantastic, mainly because of Nick, which Nick is amazing. I love Nick. He's pretty much like this fashionista type of person, just comes in and just dresses up people. He's got like this very, very great attitude, knows everybody's smile, knows everything about everybody. So he kind of uses that against the villainous. It's super good. I hope we get more of Nick. He's absolutely fantastic. But overall, I am really, really loving this show. Again, most of that is because I just love the chemistry, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. Just Raeliana just grasping at anything she can to get ahead. But that's my thoughts, my first impressions of why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know if you check out the series, if you're going to be checking it out. Do you think it's a hidden gem of the season? Again, this could just go downhill from here, but currently, all signs point to this is the show that nobody's watching, barely anybody's watching, and it deserves more attention, and I cannot wait for more. But additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks button down below, as well as a membership button. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel. You guys mean a lot to me, and y'all take care.